Trapezoid and kites. What is trapezoid? A quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel sides. So right here, and then it can be this way. If it has only one pair, we call that trapezoid. Only one pair. Parts of the trapezoid. Two parallel sides here, the top, bottom, those are bases. So parallel sides trapezoid had two bases, and then two non-parallel sides are legs. The two angles that share a base is called base angle. So right here, this is the base angle. There are two pairs of base angle in every trapezoid. Now, if you look at this diagram, this is also considered base angle, these two, and then also these two. Okay, so there's always two pairs, one pair, two pair. This is the height. Height is always perpendicular to the base. You have leg and leg, just like triangles, and that's how trapezoid is made out of. Special property of trapezoid. Mid-segment of a trapezoid. The segment that joins the midpoint of a trapezoid's legs. So right here, you have a leg here and leg here. The midpoint, E and F, when you connect them, it's mid-segment. So this right here, the dotted line, is a mid-segment. Trapezoid mid-segment theorem. If a quadrilateral is a trapezoid, then the mid-segment is parallel to both bases. The length of the mid-segment is half the sum of the length of the bases. So mid-segment is base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2, because it's halfway between them. So right here, this line is a mid-segment. This is equal, so the formula is half times base 1 plus base 2. So if you add these two and half divided by 2, that is the length of this mid-segment. So that's the relationship. So base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 or multiplied by half. And that gives you this measurement. How do I know that angles that share a leg in a trapezoid will be supplementary? Angle AEF, which is right here, is corresponding to angle EDC. So you see this angle E and this angle D, because it forms a parallel lines, there are corresponding angles. Therefore, they're congruent. Angle A and angle AEF here, when you add these two, they are consecutive interior angles because you see these parallel lines. So the mid-segment is also parallel to the top and the bottom. So if you add these two angles right here, they are 180. They're supplementary. Angle A and angle ADC, if you add this one and the bottom one here, so angle A and angle D, they are also 180, so they're consecutive interior. So please write these down. Isosceles trapezoid. A trapezoid with legs that are congruent. Special properties. 1. Each pair of bases angles is congruent. 2. The diagonals are congruent. So here you have base and the base, leg and a leg. When you have isosceles, that means this leg is congruent. The base angles are congruent, and the diagonals, these diagonals are also congruent. We call that isosceles trapezoid. Find the length of the mid-segment. So if I give you a trapezoid, I want you to find the length of this red mid-segment. Basically, what you're going to do is add the base 1, which is 18 here, add base 2, 22. That's 40 divided by 2, and that's 20. So FE equals 20. Please write that. Now, if I use algebra, 6x minus 12 plus 18 divided by half will equal 2x plus 10. So you need to write this Or you can do 6x minus 12 plus 18. If I do negative 12 plus 18, that's positive 6. That equals twice 2x plus 10, twice this. So you can set up this equation or you can do this equation. So when you add the top, the bottom, half that, that's going to equal this middle. So that will be the equation here. So if I do that, I'm going to do half times 6, which is 3x, half times 6, 3, equals 2x plus 10, which is the mid-segment, and then subtract 2x, subtract 3, and then x equals 7. So we're just solving for x for this second one. The x is 7. So basically, top plus the bottom divided by 2 equals this mid-segment. What is kite? A quadrilateral with two pairs of consecutive sides congruent and no opposite sides congruent. So kite has these two sides are congruent. The top two are congruent. But opposite sides like this and this, they're not congruent. So only bottom two are congruent and the top two are congruent to each other. Special properties for kite. Diagonals are perpendicular. So right here, it always perpendicular, diagonal. How do I know that one of the diagonal is perpendicular to bisector of the other? By hypotenuse and leg. Number 2, exactly one pair of opposite angles are congruent. The pair formed between the different sides, so by side, 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 and CPCTC. So basically, this side and this side, they are congruent. These two diagonal, they are perpendicular, and this side is also congruent. And then this will be side, 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 and CPCTC. You can apply that to see that if there are one pair of opposite angles, right here, this angle and this angle, they are congruent. Kite example. Kite is a kite. So this means K-E-I-T is a kite. Find the measure of the missing angle. If this is 124, this angle is 124. So we're going to do 124 plus 124 plus 32, subtract from 180, and you get 80. So please write 124 here and 80 here. So these two opposite angles are congruent. Find the side lengths of the kite in simplest radical form. So this is 3, that's 3, that's 8, that's 3. We're going to find the side length of the kite. So you're going to use Pythagorean theorem because inside here where they intersect is 90 degrees angle. So I'm going to find 3 squared, which is 9, plus 3 squared, which is 9, 18. That's going to be c squared. So if you do square root of 18, and if you simplify, it's 3 radical 2. So this side is 3 radical 2, and this side is 3 radical 2 because they're congruent. For this one, you're going to do Pythagorean theorem. 3 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. So I did it here. 3 squared is 9, 8 squared is 64, and then this right here is c squared, which is e and t. So radical 73 is the answer. And we're going to write in simplest radical form. So this is radical 73, this is radical 73. Write these on your paper, please. More example. Find the measure of the number angles in each isosceles trapezoid. So isosceles, if this is 60, this side is 60. They have same base angles, and that's going to be 360. We're going to do 60 plus 60, which is 120. Subtract that from 360. divided by 2, and you get 120 and 120 here, because they are also congruent. So if this is trapezoid, 150, 105, then that's 105. Add these two, subtract from 360, divided by 2, 75 and 75. And altogether, quadrilateral has 360 inside. So if I want to find the angle measures here, this is 46, this is 90, so that's going to be 136. Subtract from 360 divided by 2. That's 112 and 112. Because this angle and this angle, they are congruent, the side angles in a kite. For this one, you have 90 all around because diagonals make perpendicular. 90 plus 40, subtract from 180 because that's a triangle, that's 50. If this is 40, that's going to be 40. If that's 50, that's going to be 50. And number 3 is 90. Solve for x. QR is x plus 5. PR is 3x plus 3. So QS, QS and PR, they are diagonals and they are congruent. So this diagonal, they are congruent to each other. So x plus 5 equals 3x plus 3. Subtract 3x to the other side, and then that's 2x, and then subtract this, and then 2x equals 2, x equals 1. So x is 1. So these two are equal to each other. For these, 2x plus 4 times 2 equals 4x plus 7. I'm sorry, that's not correct. I'm sorry. So x, the top x plus 4x plus 7, if you add the top base and the bottom base, divided by 2, that's going to equal to this. So we're going to do x plus 4x plus 7. X plus 4x is 5x plus 7. And then that's going to equal double of this, right? So if I double this, 2x times 2 is 4x. 4 times 2 is 8. Put the equal sign, and I'm all able to solve for x. Subtract 4x, which is 1x. Subtract 7, which is 1. X equals 1. If x equals 1, plug in 1 here. 2 times 1 plus 4 is 6. 4 times 1 plus 7 is 11. Let's take a look at the other example. This is 3x plus 5. This is 4x plus minus 30. These two angles, side angles, are congruent to each other. So we're going to make 3x plus 5 equals 4x minus 30. Subtract, x equals 35. 2y minus 20 is this angle. This angle is 4x minus 30. When you add these two consecutive, they equal 180. So what we're going to do is, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. So in order to solve for y, because we're solving for x and y, x, you make these two equal to each other. I got x equals 35. Now I'm just going to use this triangle, because if this is y, that's going to be y, right? So if this triangle is 180 inside, 35 can be plugged in here. So 4 times 35 minus 30 is 110. So this is 110 right here. And then here, if I do 110 plus y plus 2y minus 20, together it's going to be 180 because it's a triangle. So what I did is y plus 2y is 3y minus 120 plus 110. This angle is 110 because x was 35. So I plugged it in here. Subtract 30. This is 110. So you can make it equal like this. Look at this equation. And then negative 20 plus 110 is 90. Subtract 90. 3y equals 90 divided by 3. Y equals 30. So 30 is the answer for the y. So once I got the x, I plugged it in here and I use a triangle. If this is y, that's y. And I use combine like terms. I combine these two. and then add 110, make it equal to 180, and that's how I got the answer. So if you look at this, we have this relationship among quadrilaterals. The big picture is quadrilateral. Any four-sided polygon is quadrilateral. If you only have one pair of parallel sides, look here. It's trapezoid or isosceles trapezoid. Isosceles has same side length. If you have two pairs of parallel sides, you have parallelogram. Under there, you have rectangle and rhombus and square. Rectangle, rhombus, and square is parallelogram because it has two pairs of parallel sides, but then square has both rectangle and rhombus characteristics. Kite has no pairs of parallel sides, but these sides, they are equal to each other. So that's a separate one. So this is a quadrilateral family.